Hi, this is Ben from the Bicycle Man. Today we're explaining how to take the fork off a folding linear roadster so it can be made small to put into a travel case sport tube. Basically we're going to use a 5mm wrench, both remove the two bolts for the brake caliper and that'll slide off and keep your cable tension correct, and then one for the dust cover and one for the fork clamp. Basically the whole assembly is going to separate like this, and then it will be opposite steps to put it back together. Okay, so here we're going to proceed to take the fork off the linear folding roadster. Just for convenience for a video, I've taken the steering linkage off, and we're going to flip the fork around so you can see what's going on. There's the cable comes down into the caliper, and this bolt here and this bolt here we're going to take off so the caliper comes off as one piece from the fork. Just loosen these bolts, take them all the way out with a 5mm wrench. So I'm going to take these two bolts out, the caliper will be just hanging from the cable. It just slides forward, and then to store them you want to put them right back in the holes for your travel case that they came out of, because these are threaded in. So this, for simplicity, we're just going to let it hang down. That's fine. And then once you move up to the top, we're going to loosen this silver fork clamp. This is just the pinch bolt here. Just loosen it. Maybe 2 half turns. And then the one on the top is just the top dust cover. Turn it so I can see it. Just the top dust cover. So once I remove this here, the top dust cover is what puts the tension to keep all this assembly compressed together, and it's just finger tight. This big aluminum clamp is what actually holds the fork in. This just comes out. Just cover and a bolt. Set that aside. Now for simplicity, sometimes this fork clamp is pretty high precision, so you might have to twist it a little bit to get it off, or if you take a flat blade screwdriver, just stick it into the slot a little bit, expand it so it will come off a little bit easier. Set that aside. So now, depending on the model, there's 2 spacers mostly, or one. There's a 10mm spacer. This one has a 3mm spacer. Set those aside. Now the fork's going to just push it down, and it's going to come straight out. So your fork and wheel will be off the bike. Now this is your bottom cup for your headset. This is your sealed bottom bracket bearing, which might stay inside here. It'll probably fall off and stay right on the fork. This is your top cup, and your other sealed bearing is right here. So when you go to put it together, we want the ball bearing, the red face facing down. So go right up into the bottom cup, straight through the frame to the top. And then again we have our second sealed bottom bracket bearing, or headset bearing, excuse me, and the red is going to face up in this case. Then there's a red or a cone shaped split washer which goes on next. Push it straight down until it stops. And then this top dust cover just slides on here. And then we're going to use our two, so it might be 2 spacers, might be 1, depending on how that fork was cut. They'll slide on. Then I'm going to put my my fork clamp back together, and I want this steering, this peg here, which is the steering linkage, to be on the non-drive side of the bike, so opposite of the chain. Remember I was saying sometimes this is a little snugger than we liked, but get that started, and then you can use the dust cover and this bolt threads right into the top of the fork. So right now it's all held in position. If I wasn't holding it, it would all fall out. So you want to hold it until you get that dust cover on there. And as you tighten this down, it's going to draw all this up together. just finger tight. And then with the fork and the wheel and the fork facing completely forward, you want this ball stud to be directly in line with this side of the fork. And then we're going to tighten up the clamp. And it's just maybe 3/4 of a turn, not even a full turn, and it's tight enough. Now we're going to reconnect our caliper brake here. Take the bolts out. We take the 2 bolts out rather than take this part at this connection because your caliper and everything will stay adjusted by just removing the whole caliper in one piece. Put the top one in. Start the bottom one. Again, all this to do all these is just a 5mm Allen wrench. And again, these are just hand tight, just a little snug. That's all you need. And again, we'll spin the fork back around just for video so you can see it a little bit better. And that completes removing the fork for transportation of your Linear Roadster to put in this sport tube and reinstalling it. Thank you.